Hey, more introductory ideas as we get started in sociology. Um, so, getting to know me a little bit. In case you can't notice, my hair is a little wet. Let's play basketball here on campus. So I don't know. Something I do for fun certainly keeps me humble as I get older and try to stay somewhat healthy. It's a lot of fun too. So anyway, hope you're getting some exercise and some recreation this summer too. Let's talk in this mini lecture on what is social structure, what does agency mean, and how does social structure both enable and constrain your agency, your ability to freely choose some things in life, okay? And so, as you can see on our PowerPoint here, that's exactly what this says. Structure both enables and constrains your energy. Enables in the sense that it lets you do some things, constrains in the sense that it doesn't let you do some other things. Okay? And in general, as we go through the course, we'll talk about a lot of different things, both enabling and constraining agency and other things too. Culture being something that does both of these. And so, whatever we're talking about structurally or whatever, it's good to think about both enabling and constraining. Okay. Well, now, clearly, one first thing we need to think about is what is structure, what is agency, and how are they in tension with each other. And your textbook defines these, and you can look that up as you read through, and hopefully you've already done that today, or we'll be doing it shortly. And agency, another way of thinking about agency that sort of dovetails with our book and sociology in general is to think of agency as your free will, right? And not necessarily like religious free will, that's certainly related, but just your ability to make choices on your own, right? And then philosophy talks about this quite a bit. Free will versus determinism, to what degree are your choices already fated or determined and things like that. For us, your ability to make free choices, individual choice, free choices, is in tension with social structure. What's social structure? Well, in addition to your book's definition, which is pretty good, I tend to sort of define social structure as this: patterned social arrangements or ordered social arrangements. So throughout the course, when I mention structure, I'll often bug you, what is the meaning of that? And it's just pattern or ordered social arrangements, okay? And that patterning in social life ends up mattering in a lot of ways, as we'll see. So the way that things are organized or patterned ends up mattering, okay? And so that social life is not chaotic. It is organized and patterned, and that influences sort of how we understand the world and how we think that we can have some agency in the world, how we can make some choices. A term that will add to this duo of terms is social location. Within that organized pattern or social structure, your place in that structure is your social location. Okay? All right? So that it's not necessarily a literal physical place. If we're talking about a social organization, sometimes we're talking about a non-literal location. We're just talking about within the social organization, where might you be? Okay. Now let's do an example of this, and we'll use this example to both consider these terms and how structure enables and constrains your agency. All right. So here we are. And we have got a diagram here of GFU's social structure. Okay. This is a very common social organization, particularly through bureaucracies and many, for lack of a better word, hierarchical organizations. Hierarchy means that there are levels of differentiation between groups of people, and that people in different levels have different both privileges and responsibilities. For our sake, this little diagram has organized in two dimensions, of course, and on the horizontal dimension, we're talking about the number of people at each level. And as it gets wider, we're talking about more people, okay? It increases as it gets wider. Vertically, we are talking about within the social structure, how much power do individual people have, so that people near the bottom of the social structure have less power relative or compared to people near the top. Okay? Now, this is the question. If this is GFU's social structure, take a moment here and label in your own brain, or just think about, I suppose. I'm used to people labeling on their notes. You can do that, of course, and I encourage you to do that. Where do you belong in the social structure as a student at George Fox University? Where do I belong as a faculty member of George Fox University? And where does Robin Baker belong as the president of George Fox University? So clearly, George Fox University's president is somewhere up near the top, sort of a position of near singular power. Of course, it's slightly more complicated if you know about university governance, in that there's a board for the college which probably collectively supervises Robin Baker, so it really should be another little block or square up at the top. But Robin Baker is pretty much at the top of this particular triangle, simplified as it is. Me, as faculty member, depending on how you organize it, are probably here or here on the second or third level from the top, right, as faculty member. And you, as student, presumably put yourself down here, in that you are the most number of people. You far outnumber other administrators, faculty, staff, etc. But that collectively within the institutional structure, individually you all have the least amount of power, at least individually. Okay? Now, I don't know, when I teach this in person, I often feel a little dip in energy in the room, and that's not the primary point of this. The primary point is just to point out that social structure matters, right? So that social structure matters because it enables and constrains your agency, right? So that when you look at this block, what your position is, your location is, if you're a student down here, it enables you to do some things, but it constrains you from doing other things, right? So if we were in person, you'd know, and I'd tell you, that I've yet to ever wear shorts in teaching a class, short pants, right? Because in some respect, that is something that students very much feel enabled to do. It may seem trivial or inconsequential, but it's definitely different than me. My position, say I'm here as faculty member, I feel like that constrains me from wearing short pants. And I know other faculty people do that, and I may do it when class isn't in session. But that's something, trivial, but it sort of changes, depending on your social level. Down here, as students, you feel enabled to sort of dress extremely casually at times, some of you. And as up here, as an employee of the university and as a faculty member, I feel more constrained with respect to some of those things, right? Similarly, in terms of agency, your ability to sort of make the choices, I, as faculty member, have some degree of power to choose the curriculum of this class, particularly, of my classes. And so that enables me to sort of make those choices, where for you as student, in terms of what we're going to do in this class, the frank reality is, in this class and many others, you're much more constrained in terms of what we're going to do in class. I mean, you're certainly free to do what you will. However, there may be consequences set by me in terms of what kind of grade you get. So, and that's just one of your choices, so that your agency in terms of what you're going to do in this class is constrained by that. I get to sort of set and establish sort of the grade consequences for that. All right, so it's a real basic take-home point. That structure of whatever form, your social arrangements and pattern, both enables and constrains your agency. We'll come back to this time and time and time again.